It's summertime and it's time to sit inside and watch some anime. What's up guys, my name is Taylor Hoyt and today we're going to talk about anime. Yes, this is something I've been wanting to talk about on my channel for a long time. I've always wanted to do anime content, but I never knew how because you can't show footage or without getting in trouble or whatever. So I figured this more vloggy style, maybe showing some still images every once in a while or just really short clips would be a better way to do that. So today I want to talk about the 5 shows that I'm watching for the season of 2016 summer season of anime. Frankly, the spring season I'm kind of disappointed in here. As I was looking through the catalog, there was really nothing that caught my eye. And I like something, shows that are a little bit more lighthearted, maybe even a little bit more cutesy if I'm being really honest. And nothing really fit that bill. I tried watching some shows and nothing really did it for me, but I've got 5 shows that I'm watching right now and I'm really enjoying, and I want to share some early impressions after the first couple of episodes of them and just, talk about it with you guys in the comments later. So the first show is called This Art Club Has a Problem. This is a show about a high school, I believe it's a high school art club, maybe junior high, I'll have to check on that one. But it's a show where they're in this art club and there is this boy who's got a ton of talent. He's really good at art and drawing, but all he wants to draw is his perfect 2D waifu. They literally use that verbiage in the show, and all he does is draw these cute girls, whereas the other girl's she wants to draw apples and realistic drawings. And then there's this other member, he's just on the couch sleeping and stuff like that. But the interplay between the characters is really funny and cute, and she's trying to be serious, and she actually likes the boy in her club, even though she's frustrated with him. And they have a really cute moment at the end of the first episode. I won't ruin it for you, but yeah, it's just really touching. It really sets the tone for the rest of the season. I'm really excited to see what happens with these characters, how it develops, and if new, I'm sure I've seen the intro and it gives away, but there will be new characters that join the art club and things like that. So I'll be really curious to see how that develops and see what happens with this art club, and if he eventually does draw his ultimate 2D waifu. Next, we have New Game. Now, there is a show that people seem to absolutely love called Shirobako. Shirobako? I don't know, I'm saying it wrong. It was a show about what it's like to make an anime. So it was a show about an anime studio and just the inner workings of what it was like to make an anime. And I watched a few episodes and it didn't really do it for me. It wasn't funny enough, and I just didn't care enough about how anime was made at the time, I guess. But people seem to really, really love it. So New Game, take that idea, but it's about what it's like to work at a game studio. And having worked at a game studio, this really interested me. So I'm like, okay, I know what it's like to work at an American game studio. What is it like to work at a Japanese game studio? And so we follow this girl, she's 18 years old. It's her first day on the job and she's a character artist. And she's working for this company that makes her favorite game, Fairy Diaries, I believe is what it's called. And she's just so excited because she's like, wow, I grew up loving your games and now I get to work on one of these games. It's so exciting. And so, it's the first thing, she walks in the studio and her boss is sleeping under her desk. If you know anything about crunch time, that's pretty typical, people sleeping at the office and stuff like that. And she's meeting all these different people that work in her cubicle. One's really shy and she only talks on I am. And another one is really nervous, oh my gosh, I have a younger coworker, I'm supposed to be their senpai or whatever. And that's weird for me because I'm usually the young one. And there's some interesting interactions. The first episode, I gotta be honest, was a little annoying just because everybody was so shy and they didn't want to say anything or upset anyone or whatever. And it's just okay, come on, just get with the program. Let's move past this and let's get to the good stuff. And it's gotten better for sure. I want to stick with it. I want to see what happens, and I want to see, will they be able to put their game out by the end of the season? I mean, it's always cool to watch a show where there's character development and they reach a goal at the end. So I'm excited to see what happens. It has some comedy. I like the style and especially like the theme of working at a game studio, so I'll be curious to see how New Game evolves as it goes along. Next is a brand new show called Sweetness and Lightning, and I have to say this might be my favorite show of the season so far. This show is about a little girl named Sumuki, I believe her name is, or Sumugi, and she's just this energetic, cute little kindergartner, I believe, or young elementary school girl, and her dad is a single parent, and he is just trying so hard to like give her a good life. You know, he makes a lot of pre-prepared food or pre-packaged food and gives it to her, and he feels bad that he can't cook something good for her. And one day he runs into like a student of his at the Cherry Blossom Festival, and she happens to own, her mom actually happens to own this restaurant, and so they form this relationship where he comes and they cook dinner at this her restaurant. And by relationship, I don't mean romantic. That would be weird. It's just sort of like, oh, I'm your teacher and you're trying to learn how to cook and I'm trying to provide for my daughter, so this all works together, and the daughter likes the student and stuff like that. It's just adorable. And honestly, it hits home a little bit just because, you know, I grew up in a single parent home. It was just me and my mom, so I can really commiserate with like what's going on with this guy. And honestly too, like if I was ever like a single parent, like that is the kind of daughter I want. She's just like so cute and adorable, and you can't help but love her, and she just always has a great attitude. So I will absolutely be sticking out the season with Sweetness and Lightning. It just looks like a great show. Next is episodes 2 and 3 of Brotherhood Final Fantasy 15. Now, episode 1 debuted around E3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It was the Final Fantasy 15 event where they announced the release date, I think. And they had they were like, we're gonna really spread this out up until the release of the game. I think there's only like 6 episodes, they said, or something like that, and they're really short. Not really, they're like 15 minutes each. But you know, normally most animes are like 22, 23 minutes. And the first episode I thought was like kind of boring. I'm like, all right, like it's just them at a diner and then they go out and fight a battle. I'm like, is it just gonna be these weird little side stories? But then episode 2 and 3 came out, and I'm like way more hooked than I ever thought I would ever be with this show. So basically, episode 2 is all about Prompto, and it's about how him and Noctis became friends, and how Prompto has this like affection for Noctis and why he means so much to Prompto. And I don't want to ruin it, but basically, Prompto is a fat kid, and let's just say Noctis kind of motivates him, and all that connects with other characters in the game. For anybody that's followed the game for a long time, you'll know who these characters are when you see them, but I don't want to spoil anything like that. But it's just really cool, because now I'm like, oh man, now I really want to cheer for Prompto. Before, he was my least favorite of the 4. You know, like he was just annoying, and I didn't really like his design, but now I'm like, wow, like you see this backstory, and I'm like, I actually care about Prompto now. So I'm excited to see how his story plays out throughout the game. And also Gladiolus, you know, he's supposed to be Noctis's like bodyguard, like his shield, and he trains them. Like there's a flashback to when they're younger and he's training him, and you know, Gladiolus' sister really wants to visit Noctis because Gladiolus just hates Noctis. He's just calling him a brat and spoiled and all this stuff. But then Noctis and Gladio's sister have this really great interaction, and so he kind of comes around to being friends with Noctis. And I don't know, these 2 episodes have really made me care about these characters in a way I didn't think I would. And you know, congrats to Square Enix for having a good idea with this show. It's like, okay, you know, it's not going to spoil anything from the game. At least I don't think so. I don't know what backstory they're going to reveal in the full game, but it's really cool to see these backstories and see how these characters grew up with Noctis and why, you know, they're friends and why they care about each other and things like that. So I will definitely stick out. Gotta love when the camera battery dies. And last but not least, season 2 of Food Wars. I have absolutely loved this show. It's been one of my favorites over the last couple of years, and season 2 picks up right where season 1 left off with the food competition. What I like is they've kind of toned down like the sexualness of like when they eat and like all their clothes fly off and stuff like that. It's more like, oh, this reminds me of when I was a kid and stuff like that. So great continuation of the show. All the characters are back, and it brings the same great humor and also the spin of a shonen anime, but in the vein of a cooking show. It's really crazy and weird how they managed to make that work. Anyways, guys, my battery is about to die again, so I'm just gonna wrap this up really quick. Those have been my impressions of anime for summer 2016 so far. What have been some of your favorite anime this year so far? Let me know in the comments below. We'll talk about it, and we'll see you next time on Taylor Time.